Today's AskReddit post. What are some things that rich/ultra rich people do which the average person doesn't even consider? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. There are several single family owned Montessori schools. Like a family office put together an entire mini school just for their kids and their friends' kids. It became a thing to do when the pandemic hit. Some of them are 100% mobile too. Like teaching on the jet/all over the world. Buying a home for their college-aged children. Then they sell the house when their kid graduates. Sometimes this sale pays for college. Money making money. I have several rich friends who are my age, 50s, and don't work. Their biggest perk is attending every concert and show and buying front row. Not just our area, but if their favorite band is playing across the country, they fly with their kids there and spend the weekend. I've known people whose adult children follow their favorite band around the world, attending every concert. Even if I had the money, there is no one I like that much. Wait until you meet the hardcore F1 fans. Having separate sets of clothing in each house, so they don't have to take more than carry-on luggage when traveling. I heard of an optician in DC who had a limo pull up in front of his store and a Middle Eastern man in expensive robes got out with his bodyguard. After browsing a little, the bodyguard came to the counter with a nice pair of Ray-Bans and said, "We'll take 20 of these." The optician half-jokingly asked if it was one for every room of the house, but the bodyguard with a flat look corrected, "No, one for every house." I also had a friend who hired on as house maintenance for someone rich. Her job was to keep a steady supply of exactly the right perishable foods available in all this person's houses, and on constant rotation to keep it fresh. So they would immediately have exactly what they liked available to eat if they decided on impulse to go to any particular house. I live near Scottsdale with a lot of wealthy people. They constantly remodel their vacation homes, so there's always great stuff. I bought a brand new Viking refrigerator from Craigslist. Still wrapped. It's 8 feet tall, 36 inches. The homeowners decided they wanted a double refrigerator instead. They've owned the home 2 years. Still haven't stayed a night there. The refrigerator retails for $18,000. I got it for $1,500. I could see that. My in-laws live in Paradise Valley. It seems like non-stop house renovation and remodel is constantly going on in their neighborhood. They call boutique stores ahead of time to say they are coming in on date X. The boutique high-end store pulls every super expensive items complete with accessories on a rolling rack to have ready. I worked in a high-end store back in the day. If it was on sale, they pulled the sale tag off and literally tried to get rid of all the expensive items. Think layering to upsell. Paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for golf course memberships. I photograph luxury homes in the most exclusive golf course neighborhoods in my state. I know of one neighborhood where membership runs $400K plus, and there's a wait list of people wanting to join. In Naples, FL, there's a club that has a wait list. It costs $30,000 to get on the wait list, but there is no guarantee you'll be selected that year. Every year you have to pony up another $30K to stay on the list. Insane that some people live on less than what others pay for the possibility to be allowed to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into a club sometime that year. I dated a girl from a super rich family for a couple years, and every spring her entire family would go through their closets and donate 90% of their wardrobe and then go out and drop $20K plus on entirely new clothes for the year because they had to have the new season of everything. As someone who grew up wearing clothes till they fell apart and patching them if they still fit, this blew my mind. Getting rid of perfectly good clothes because they were last season is just insane to me. At least they donated their clothes instead of throwing them away. This could be a lot worse. At least they saw that the items still had value to others. I have a client who is so wealthy she is functionally invisible. No online presence. Ungoogleable. The name she uses isn't even her legal name. But I have no idea what her real name is. Because she has a family office private wealth management that handles her money. So checks from her come from that group. But what I love is that she does nothing. Every detail of her life is done by magic. Car always immaculate. Dogs walked and fed and taken to the vet. Once a week a beauty staff show up to wax and manicure. She legit has no idea how her clothes are always clean and immaculately pressed. Her house perfect. Fridge always stocked. Meals on the table twice a day. Bills paid. Taxes done. Investments invested. Garden weeded. Etc. Like, she knows she has staff. And they do it all. But she has no idea what all is. Or how they do it. She wanted to try paddleboarding, and an hour later a top-of-the-line paddleboard and accessories was unpacked and ready to go in her car. She just dials a phone number and says what she wants, and then she gets it immediately. She has a concierge on staff. That's what the ultra-rich do. Nothing. Most of my rich friends growing up always had stocked and organized fridges. Someone did all the shopping and kept everything organized. I do that. But I'm just dad. They can call me wherever I am and ask where X food is, and I can tell them I'm just dad. Everyone eats what I provide, and I watch my kids grow up with pride. Hiring a stylist to curate new designer furniture for their house when it needs a refresh. The idea that furniture and home decor have fashions or seasons. That you might rip out the carpeting or tile and have it redone because it isn't in style anymore. It's so beyond me that people waste perfectly good stuff. Like throw this couch in the garbage because I'm tired of the color. If there's a Habitat for Humanity store near you, check them out. I know for a fact a few of the UHNW individuals would donate their stuff to the nearby store. Whenever I saw the truck outside a house, I'd tip off my friends to hit the store in a few days. Buy the island instead of vacation to the island. Some billionaire just tried that in Gillith. Amen. She then threatened to sue anyone who reported on it or asked questions. Then, after that caused public backlash and had the mayor wanting to talk to her. She is now backing out and tried to say she had plans for the good of community. Pay for kidnap insurance. I would be interested in the pre-assessment insurance does for this coverage, like how many bodyguards you have, etc. I work in the London insurance market. Those policies are taken ridiculously seriously. Any K&R, kidnap and ransom, policy is only ever known by the client and placing broker. The details of each are very well kept secrets to avoid unnecessary risks. Fun fact. The film Proof of Life with Russell Crowe is based loosely on real events of the security end of a London insurance broker's K&R team. Have lobsters flown from Maine to Japan on a private jet to impress a client? I'll be honest, I'd be impressed by a lobster flying in economy class. Never mind a private jet. Buying two $1.500 cashmere sequined short-sleeved sweaters so that your tailor can cut up one sweater and make sleeves out of it because the top doesn't come in a long sleeve version. Source: I used to work for a very wealthy retired actress who did this. I had to purchase the sweaters for her and schedule the tailor. Flying to another country on a private jet just to eat dinner. That's exactly the thought I had which spawned this question. Like, what do you want for dinner? Oh, let's go to Mexico City for dinner tonight. Middle income people who happen to be licensed pilots will fly to another city for a meal. It's called getting a $100 hamburger, although it costs way more than $100 these days. Years ago I read an article about someone whose business was keeping ultra rich people's cars ready to go, as in if you have a Ferrari in multiple cities they'd keep it fueled up, oil changed, etc. and drive it around the block once a week or so, and have it waiting at the airport when the owner flies into town. Exotics can get a little upset if sat for too long. Plus when you get someone in town, just for say 5 days, every other month, they won't have time to get an oil change, wash their Ferrari, etc. Makes sense to just pay someone to have it ready when needed. Summer, *I in the verb form. Traveling all the time. Traveling for trivial reasons. Like oh so and so has a concert in Italy this weekend. Want to go? And off they go. Because they can. Their vacation homes are stocked with regionally appropriate attire, mountain clothes, beach clothes, etc. They also keep luxury vehicles at these homes that most people could only dream of owning and using as a daily driver. Yup, my grandparents were friends with a very rich, retired couple. They had a vacation home in a large southern city. My parents mentioned wanting to visit that city. My grandparents made a call and we were told to just pick some dates and the house was ours. There was a new SUV in the garage. We were told to just leave the house, however, just walk away, and their normal maid service would be a post-visit cleaning and setup for the next time the house was needed. When we arrived, the maids had turned down the beds, had flowers in the kitchen. There was a cheese plate in the fridge for us, beers, soda and water, an ice saying to help ourselves to the liquor cabinet, and a number for the local maids if we had any questions. It was damn impressive. This wasn't a mansion, just a more normal 5-bed, 4K square foot type place, but I felt like a king. Prefer to be referred to as HNW or UHNW, not rich or ultra rich. What do those mean? High net worth, ultra high net worth. My mum's boss buys a brand new top of the range car almost every year and gives a year-old one to one of his kids or family members. I jokingly asked for one. Truth is, I doubt I could even afford the insurance, let alone maintenance and fuel. It can cost $15,000 for a brake job. You are correct. That's just under half the cost of my current car. Limo jousting and great poppin' fights. Own a senator or two. You'd be amazed at how cheap you can get them on sale these days. Supreme Court justices run a bit more, though in bulk they seem to be getting more affordable lately. Buying a castle just to move it across the world and have it be put back together. Bonus points if it's just one part of it, like a chimney or the floorboards in the study. I live outside of a major city. I'm from a not wealthy area bordering on a wealthy area, but my parents sent me to private school, so I have friends from both places. I offhandedly mentioned to a wealthier friend the other day that I saw a condo on sale for $2 million in one of the richer towns. I said that if I were in the market for a $2 million property here, I'd be looking for a house, not an apartment. She explained that they weren't for sale with full-time living in mind. They are mostly used as pied-tares by mega rich people who bounce back and forth between the city and further out in the suburbs and don't want to have to rush home / beat traffic / deal with trains. Or for people who dock their yachts nearby. Wow lol. Trying to take a submersible, controlled by a game controller, down to the Titanic. Let's not blame the game controller for that one. Like, the Air Force uses game controllers for drones, because then they know their recruits will already be familiar with how to use them. Register their $1M plus vehicles in Montana, USA. Super smart. The good old Montana LLC. Don't have to be uber rich to do it. Just follow the steps some guys in Northern Virginia do with their Lambos, McLarens, Ferraris, etc., or just register an MD where there is no pages tax. You guys pay tax on your pages? My friend paid the fee to be able to have a personal escort for his family at Disney World that walks your group to the front of all the lines. I think that it was like $7,500 a day. It's not much more than a regular ticket. /s. Starting a private space program. TLDR, man imported an ancient monastery door to use on his ranch home. I worked on a ranch just south of Crested Butte, Co. If you aren't a billionaire, don't even think about looking at buying a home there. The owner of the ranch bought the front door from a Tibetan monastery and flew it to the US to use as his front door on his main house. It was all ornamentally hand-carved, like 3,000 years old, approximate 12 foot x 6 x 2. And weighed tons upon tons upon tons. Not even the cost of the door itself, but the shipping alone must have been astronomical. And this was just his front door on his main house. There must have been over 10 buildings on the property. I've seen / worked on many billionaire mansions all over Co. And this dude's ranch is the nicest I've ever seen. Buying a multi-million-dollar home nearby where they're building a bigger multi-million-dollar home so they can be nearby during construction. Dozens of spare current tech devices in case they lose one. Don't want to pack one or it dies. Buying a quarry so they can guarantee all of the stone in their home is the same. One of Canada's richest couples, Jerry Schwartz and Heather Easman, built an absolutely monster home in Toronto's Rosedale neighborhood while it was under construction. They rented an apartment nearby for $60K a month. Apparently they were hardly ever there and traveling most of the year. This was in the early 2000s and housing costs in Toronto have doubled, so today's equivalent would likely be $100K/MO. Concierge / private specialized medical care. If they have a special or chronic condition, say kidney failure, they'll have a dialysis ward installed in their home with a private nephrologist, etc. Or end up hiring someone who will end up donating an organ to them, or cancer treatments set up in home, etc. Or have an MRI installed in their home, etc. Request off menu or off topic things. For example, calling down to the concierge at a hotel and say you want a romantic couple set up down by the pool, or handing your credit card to the usher at a theater and ask them to go by and deliver you a cocktail. Yes, I have seen both these things. The precursor to that is rich people stay at hotels that the average person doesn't even know about. Having someone hired to cook for them. My brother-in-law is an amazing professional chef. He was hired by a billionaire to be a full-time chef at one of his houses on a private island. The money was crazy, but he wound up leaving because he got bored out of his mind. The guy was never home, and the only people using the house were usually the billionaire's preteen kids who only wanted french fries and chicken fingers. Lol. I would happily cook chicken fingers and french fries in between scuba diving, kayaking, fishing, sailing, etc. Selling a house fully furnished because their furniture appreciated in value just like the house did. When they wanted an addition to their Hamptons house, they couldn't get a start date from the super busy local contractors. So they rented a nearby house and hired a company from Maine to move in there and do the addition. Paid for like a dozen workers to live in a house in the Hamptons until the addition was done. Like over a year. Have a person on staff for the express purpose of communicating to the rest of their staff. Cause you clearly can't expect them to be talking to all these people directly. A butler? Household manager is the preferred term these days. But yes. Empty garages. Like, nothing in the garage but a car or two or more and a case or two of water. They don't have to fix anything or do any yard work or anything else. Wake up and can do whatever the duck they want. There is no urgency or having to work to provide. They literally have unlimited time and can buy all and every service to free their time up. I want to go to the museum today. Park. Or let's go to Costa Rica. Hunt humans for sport on an isolated island. Sounds dangerous. The most dangerous in fact. Charter a private jet to take the family on vacation. More of a rich than ultra rich. Who can have personal jets. Once you've ponied up first class for parents, kids, and nannies. You're close enough to the cost of a smaller charter. You pick your own travel times. Skip the airport security mess. Don't have to wait in airport lounges. And can usually have your limousine drive up to the jet to drop / pick up your luggage. Not ultra rich, but I shared an apartment with some people in college. One of the roommates we had never came out of his room and his parents paid for an Indian granny to come every week and cook him a week's worth of fresh food. And let me tell you, every time she came over all the rest of us were drooling and also kinda pissed because she took over the small kitchen for a few hours. He still ordered food delivery every single day, sometimes twice or 3 times a day, and always had the best electronics. He never came out of his room, never talked to us, and didn't seem to go to class frequently. I definitely thought that kid's family must be rich and trying to teach him how to slum it in a shared space. My college roommate's dad was a Yankee player, and said roommate apparently loved to cook and would fill our fridge with food we were not allowed to eat, and then go out to 4 to 5-star restaurants for every meal. If we asked to use or eat his food, he'd charge us. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.